Good afternoon, everybody. This is Kit. My friends sometimes call me Kitster, and I'm in the new Diamond DA42 twin-engine turbocharged airplane that just came out about a month ago. And I bought it, and I've taken a few flights, and hoping that today we can get a successful flight in here. I opened up the doors, and as soon as I did that, Spot Dog jumped in with me, and she wanted to go, so I promised her, she knows that when I take her on the plane that she's going to get a T-bone steak that night, so she couldn't refuse. She knows what's going on. So we're here up in Redding, California, and I'm going to be flying up to Mt.Shasta, and don't think that's it up there in the corner, but we're going to go up to Mt.Shasta today by way of Shasta Lake and over a cousin's house. And this is where we're going to be going. I'm going to put this larger so you can see it better. We're right here at Redding Airport. This is Redding Municipal Airport. This is Interstate 5 coming up and down here. My cousin's house is over here. It's by a football field in Palo Cedro. And we'll just do a buzz over his new house. He's busy doing landscaping. But when I show him what the house is going to look like, he's probably going to tear the house down, start over. From up above, the simulator draws great houses, but there are artificial houses sitting on a proper foundation, and at 200 feet and lower, they really look pathetic. That's the best you could say. They have the right bottom, but they don't have the right colors at top. The trees, the siding, the roof, it's just the right shape. It knows a one-story and a two-story based off of Bing Maps. It would have been better had to use Google, but they don't work well together. So I'm using Google Maps today, but the program was designed and the house is built off of Bing Map information. So we'll show you that when we get there. Coming up I-5, and then we're going to be getting off and coming over past Field and heading up this road called Big Bear Road, heading up to Shasta Lake, kind of threading it through some hills here, and go out here. I know that my cousins have fished on the east side of Shasta Lake. Well, either this branch, or this branch. I'm not really sure. This one is kind of narrow. I tried to fly up here the other day, and you get about here and you have to hop out, so I figured I'll just come up here. I have a smaller plane with pontoons, and I'm thinking that later, maybe my next flight, I'll just do this again, come up here because it can land on the water, and I think you can get in here and pull up on the dry land overnight if you needed to, because it might be a little bouncy to sit in the lake on a pontoon plane during the night. So we'll come off this leg here, we'll loop over the top, come back down, go over I-5. It's too low to the ground to try to fly under it. You can fly under the Gateway Bridge, but I wouldn't fly under this one. And come down to the bottom here, turn around, go back up, and we'll start a gradual climb on the way up here. Hook up to I-5 again, and continue to work our way north, come through the valleys. I've done this before in a truck that my aunt and uncle loaned me 30 years ago. They said, come on up, we'll put a mattress in the back of the truck. You can drive around and camp out in the woods. And then every other night, you probably stay at a cousin's house and get showered up there and spend some time with them and then make your way around. So I did. And we started off to Yosemite the first day and spent the night in a cabin down there. And I took off the next morning and just did what they suggested and had the time of my life. It was incredible. When I did go past Shasta Mountain, I remember this. I remember seeing it from a long ways off. And up here further north across the line, went over to the Sierra Nevadas and went over there for a couple of hours and then turned around, came back up, and eventually got back up into Eugene in that direction. But I kind of think I went over the mountains. And it was pretty hilly. I can remember that, very hilly. So Shasta Mountain, okay, I'm coming around this way and back down here because it's too steep to take the plane from here down to here, 14,000 feet down to 3,000 feet, and that shorter distance. Um, you guys would be screaming in the back seat. So I'm going to come back down here and turn around, bleed off some speed and bleed off some altitude, and come up and land in this direction. So right now it's saying that there's no wind up there, but yesterday there was wind up here. So I think I'm going to come in and circle around this way on the approach. So we'll set that up here in just a second. And when I get up here where that little blue thing is, I have a story to tell you when we get up there, and you'll see what it looks like. Okay, that being said, I'm going to put this map on the other page, and while I'm here, I had pulled these up. These are just to show you the engines. They're sitting on a horizontal position, or vertical position, slanted position, and I don't really know why. Maybe it's for air cooling. Maybe it's so that they don't take up so much room top to bottom and they can get the shorter landing gear on the plane. It beats me. But they are turbocharged, 180 horsepower each, getting 15 miles, 15 gallons per hour, 7.5 gallons each at cruising speed, which is 180 knots. So it does really well as far as fuel efficiency is concerned. I'll put that over there. I'll get this map on my other side bigger so I can see it. I'll be referring to it from time to time. And I think we need to start thinking about getting these engines started. Well, before we do, let's hop outside. I'm in what they call a drone. It's a drone camera. You can fly a drone around and see where you're going. And this is what it looked like today. For the last 4 days, it's been terrible weather up here. And today, the skies are almost too blue for me. So I-5 facing south, and now we're going to face it to the west. And now we're going to get back up toward the mountains. There's I-5 going north. And I think that is right in here is Shasta Mountain with the lake in between. And over here that's pretty much east, right here. Well, the municipal airport's down in this direction. And the cousin's house is over there. This is the airport we're taking off from right below. And we are in a red plane right here. And we'll be coming out and we're going to be threading her down through the runway right there. And it's kind of like hitting a golf ball down a very narrow group of trees, hoping that you don't get out of bounds with a hook or slice. Even a draw or a fade would be problematic down there. Okay, let's hop in the plane. Well, we're back to the plane, but let's get over here. We will come around. The doors are open. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and hop in. We'll get these doors closed. Oh yeah, they're up above. Just close it right there. And, oh, that's a weird anomaly with this plane, is that it's the only plane that I have that you can do this. You can just come right through the roof. And if you wanted to, you can get out here and look at the engines while you're going. You're not supposed to, and I don't know if the developer knows this, but you're not supposed to. Okay, we have in here a Garmin G1000 navigational system, and a very easy plane to start. Hopefully it will cooperate for us, but before we do get it started, I think we're a little close to that wall out there. I think we are. Yeah. I mean, I can make a right-hand turn, but they're 44 feet wings. I might clip into that tree. So I'm just going to ask this young person to give us a push back here. We don't have to go far. And hopefully he will hook up to us properly. And no, it doesn't. I don't know. Sometimes they get you and sometimes they don't. So you never know what to expect when they do this, whether it'll be accurate or not. We'll find out in a second. And I'm going to make sure I got the parking brakes off. I do. Okay. No, I don't. Oh, no, we do. We got them off. Okay. We don't have to go far. That's good enough. Okay, we can get her out of the way here. I just need a little bit of room. I don't need a lot of room. Okay, in we go. Thank you. Appreciate you doing that. Okay, let's see what we have here. We have fuel on board, and I'll come down here a little bit. We're going to turn the battery on. This is the master battery. And the parking brakes, we're going to put those back on. And we're going to turn the fuel pumps on. And we're going to turn, this has two computerized engines for each plane. And over here is something called the FADEC, which is a computer operated system. It doesn't control the throttle, but it controls the pitch and the fuel mixtures automatically for us. So it really is very little to do except fly the plane, which makes it very easy, especially for new people to learn how to do this. And for us, we got a little bit more work to do here. Okay, let's put if you look up in here, you'll see that there will be a white thing that says fuel plug, and clear props is just a signal there. The left glow plug is on. It just turned off. So now we can start this left engine. And we have the engine running. And looking in here, we have 700 RPMs. And temperatures are going to start going up. Oil pressure's up. And we have a half a tank of fuel. This plane can go 1,200 miles on a full tank of fuel. We're only going 140 roughly miles a day, nautical miles. And so we will, a friend's chatting with me. We don't need to put any more fuel in it than that. Let's go ahead and focus on the other engine here. Let's get watch for the white up here again. That is the glow plug. So the glow plug is on the right, and it glows and turns itself off, which is very handy. I'll just back here a little bit, and we're just going to start this engine. And we have a good engine running on both sides. And let's go back in here a little bit. So we have RPMs of 700, pressures, temperatures, everything coming up. Ideally, we want to get everything in the green, which reminds me, while we are coming up, in case we get into any adverse weather, let's just go ahead and put a little inside air in here. Make sure we don't have a problem. Okay, I'm going to zoom in a little bit on this one. This is the system on the right. It's the AV. This is the primary flight program. This is the MFD. That's the MFD and PFD. I always get them mixed up. Anyhow, we're coming alive here. Continue here to get going. And I did put in the flight plan in here already. What I haven't put in is the landing procedure that we're going to be taking. So why don't we just go ahead and do that now. And I'm still looking here. We still don't have any real clear wind, but I think it's going to work better if I select the approach from the north. And we're going to take the visual R14. Okay, right here. Accept that. And we're going to do coming in on a straight trajectory. Straight means that we're going to swinging up this way. That's runway 14. We're going to be swinging around this way, coming into land. And I know that at the final FAF, final altitude fix, we are going to be at 3,700 feet. And we're going to turn this on. And we're going to turn this to 200 feet off. Let's go with 200, and we'll just accept that. We'll come on down. We're going to load this, and we'll say OK. It's just for visual. It's not exactly accepted procedure. We'll accept it, and we'll go. So that's where that is. I'm going to pull this range back in a little more. Well, the red means those are mountains. We don't want to hit those. As we raise in altitude, those will turn back to normal color. So we want to stay away from anything in red. You know how the song goes. Okay, that's okay on that side. Actually, we're very tight here. Let's just bring that out. Maybe a mile and a half. Okay. And on the left, we have another small one here with a 5-mile range on it at the moment. And I think I'll bring that out to 7.5 miles. And we'll go from there. We're going to set the barometer. And now it's going to tell us that we're about 480 feet off the ground. And over here, the rotate on this plane where you lift off the ground is 76 knots. So we're going to go for that speed on the approach and get her up and get her going. So we have, let's look in there again. So now we have everything basically heading into the greens. So that looks good. 710 RPMs and a half a tank of fuel. Does it get any better? Okay. Let's release the parking brake. And take that released. Okay. Just going to give her a little gas and a hard turn to the right. Don't really hear the engines running. It's so quiet. Okay. Very tricky threading it through the needle down there. Come down this direction. And we're just going to come down and hop on down here. Do a turnaround. And we're to take off. I think we've got everything set. Yeah, there's one more thing I do want to do. We'll do that as we get down here. We get into our turn right here. Very, very tight turn. He's in my way. I would go over there and turn. Oh, okay. That should do it. Right about there. A little more power, Scotty. Take some power to get her moving, and then I shouldn't have gone down quite that far, but okay, shouldn't land down there, but we're gonna start right about here. I'll just park it. Hope nobody's coming in above me. Now, I do have a real pilot, former pilot in our clan, and one of the cousins, and he's probably gonna laugh at me during this whole flight, so just gonna have to shrug it off and say, hope you enjoy the flight. Remember, it's a simulator. We either make it or we don't, but we can always fly another day because you can walk away from all these flights. Okay, so here we are on the ground. You can see how wide the wings are, and that's, as I said, that's very intimidating down there. Okay, let's straighten this up a little bit. And while we're here, let's get in a notch of flaps. We got and notch of flaps in, and now I think we have everything set. Oh no, I didn't. I wanted to get some think about 1,800 feet to get us to a good altitude right in the Reading area here. And I'm going to put our flight director on, and when we do climb, let's go to about 300 feet a minute. Okay. Oh, we got one more thing. There's always one more thing. Let's make sure our trim wheel's set. So we are set here for, as you can see, we're in takeoff mode right here. Okay, we are, and if you notice there, we didn't have steering wheels. We just have these push rod pull rods. They're sitting on little pins that just move a couple inches to activate hydraulic feeds in here, the little server in here, and that's what turns puts power into the airlines, rudder, and things like that. The wheels are electric. The defroster is liquid on the wings and the prop, and it's kind of a combination of a little bit of everything. Okay, that being said, I think it's time to get going. I didn't take the brake off yet. Okay. All right, time to rock and roll. Here we go. And see if the clear weather helps it up here today. Yeah, we got full throttle right now, and I still don't really hear the engines. I hope they're making noise. I'm watching on the speedometer there for that 77 knots, and I think we are right there right now. I think we can lift off. Whoa, we're probably clipping those little branches on the tree right there. We're up and away. Let's get those landing gear up. They're up. We're doing 86 knots. We can bring the flaps in now, and I can see that we are heading south in this other map that I'm looking at. I forgot to put it on auto center, and okay, I have my hands off the plane here. So that's I-5 right down below, and I'm not really getting onto the autopilot just yet. I want to just do a turn around here and head over the municipal airport, and we'll head toward cousin's house. So that's what do you call it? Sacramento River coming through there. I don't really know what all that business is down there. Here's the municipal airport. I got the municipal airport up here, straight ahead. Air traffic controllers would be giving me a field day right now, so we will try to get in and out of here. Maybe they won't see us. What do you think? Big bright red plane, they'll never notice we're here. So you guys that live out in this neck of the woods, maybe you can tell me if I have if Microsoft is showing the ground kind of reddish like that, or if that's some of the other programs in here. I do have something called Active Season, which is trying to make the scenery, the trees, the vegetation appear as they would at this time of the year. There's Shasta Mountain up there. Yeah. It's got a lot of glass wrapped around up here, so you can really see your way. Yeah, I did see Shasta Mountain as I looked out to the left. And I'm going to line myself up here. Now, if you're looking down there at that little yellowy lime green and the second monitor on the right there, you'll see the pink line turned left. And the autopilot system doesn't want to get all the way out to where we want it to go. Instead, it wants to curve things because it's a steep out and a steep back. So it wants to get things curved. Oh, let's get some power back. We don't need full power here now. Let's get these engines back to about half. That ought to do it. And slow her down. We're doing 163 knots. And it's a little fast if you're going to be doing some buzzing over somebody's house. I think that's the high school straight ahead of me with a little bit of a bluish roof. And cousin should be off slightly to the right of that. We're slowing down. We're at 150 knots now. Slowing down, and I think the football field is out the edge of the woods right in here. So I'm in from the outside. Take a look. That's the wrong school right there. It's the next one coming up. When we get here, I'm going to cheat a little bit. This is something you can't do in the real world. I'm sure a lot of people would wish they could, but they can't. This is the football field here on the right there, so I'm going to stop it right there in midair. And we'll get back in the plane. And that's me looking through my glasses. And now we're going to come over here to my cousin's house, which should be right down below me. Yeah, on the southeast corner here. Like I said, you will freak out when you see this because things just don't look so good. But while we're here, he's straight below me. I can see a swimming pool in the backyard right down here, if you can see my mouse. And that's his house right here. We'll get closer. Here's a nice looking swimming pool here. There's several good looking swimming pools, but I have a feeling his house was new and Bing Maps, maybe they caught it when the house was under construction and Bing Maps didn't have anything really solid to work with. So it did the best it could. You can see better looking swimming pools over here. But his came up short. Tells you might want to take that pool out and do it again, or make sure it passed inspection when they got all the way through the house. So from up above, that's what it looked like for your place here. Straight down, right in there. Now we're gonna come down closer. And let's come down about here. I'm pretty sure, is that the one? Huh. Where is it? Is it this one? I remembered it being at the end of a road. I think it's... Yeah, here we go. Here it is, it's straight down here. Right in here. Well, that doesn't look quite right. That's the wrong one. Is it this one? Oh, take it back. This is the one. Here it is right here. In this corner of the thing. So there's the house with some very blocky looking trees. And I don't know what they are. I don't know what Microsoft or this other program called AccuSeasons. One of the two is not drawing very good looking trees. Now it does have the fact that the house, the foundation of the house is probably right, but the rest of the house, maybe you can come up and tell me why it looks like that. And again, maybe this was under construction when they built it, and that's why there's no blue water in the pool. Bing Maps didn't catch it. And if you look in here, and that probably is accurate as far as the garage on one side and the building layout like this. And then maybe the roof line is kind of sort of right, but the rest is pretty scary looking. It's going to take a lot of landscaping to fix the property and then try to get that corrected. So very scary looking. I think I'd be talking to the builder, asking to see those inspection papers again. What happened here is all I can really say. And let's see how the truck has got a delivery coming. Yep, he's jerking himself in there. He'll probably get up. He'll see the house. Oh, he saw the house. He said, that's enough. That's enough for me. And I think that's good enough for us. Let's come back up. And there's the plane up ahead. I'm just going to pop right back into the plane. And we'll get on the inside. And I'm going to take it off of pause. And we're going to start flying. Here we go. Okay, so now I'm flying east, and I really need to be flying to the west. So I am going to turn and head toward the west. Now we're down to 122 knots. See, they've got blue swimming pools. They got better looking houses. You get up in the air, and it looks much, much better. You get down right on the ground, and things get scary looking very quickly. Okay, let's straighten out here a little bit. I'm looking at my map on the right, and I can see a little white line there that when I head toward a magenta line is we're going to be heading west here. So I've got altitude here about right. I'm going to hit the autopilot, And we're just gonna hold it right there. I'm gonna hold it in here, climbing 250, and let's put it on vertical speed. We're gonna come up. Speed is looking good. Vertical speed didn't come up. There we go. 300, 200 feet a minute. I'm gonna put it on nav. But I have a feeling it's too far off to get to the nav, so I am going to put it on heading and synchronize the heading. And we'll go to heading, and we will turn the heading, there we go, into the range of the direction of this next waypoint, which is that user waypoint 2. Let's see how we're doing. Okay, we're doing 120 knots, and we are moving west, heading straight west, and keep forgetting I have this other little map here. That's where we are. I slide down a little bit. We're trying to intercept this little magenta line here. You get lined up and it'll automatically start flying around. So that's the direction we're going. And in here, assume that will work. Okay, we'll back that out. Okay, so we are now, should be reaching a combination of, oh, I don't have it on nav. I'm gonna do a nav intercept, not on nav mode. Well, we were on nav, but we didn't quite, oh, we haven't quite got there yet. That should be it's a CDI, and there we go. Okay, now the heading, and I want to get into the nav mode. GPS is connected. It says I know where we are now. And we're going to start following the curve, the jet line up here, waypoint by waypoint by waypoint. It'll never make this one. It'll go, no need to go out there if you're coming back here. I'll just do a little gentle curve and swing in early. Okay, so now we're headed toward that Interstate 5 right down below us. That's Interstate 5 back down there, which is off that way. This would be looking north down Interstate 5 right there. Coming north. Now we're heading toward, where are we heading? We're heading toward this Benton Airfield. And Shasta Mountains up there in the far right, that's our objective. Okay. And Benton Airfield up that direction. And let's see how she does. You can see the light from the airport, and we're not going to make that. See, we're going to turn early. And that's a little tighter zoom. We never make it to where we really want to go. So I had to do that when we're going to fly up to the mountains. Pretend like they're going to go further, knowing that it's going to turn quicker. So it's coming back. That was, get outside the plane. That was Mercy Hospital, Mercy Clinic, right behind us there, Sacramento River. Good thing we're not flying into the sun. It would be a long trip if we were doing that. I don't have any sun goggles in here. Okay, we're kind of heading straight east. We're going to connect up here with I-5. It's downtown Reading, right to this general neck of the woods. We're going to make this turn, and we're going to start following I-5 up and connect into that big, what do I call it? Big Bear, yeah, Big Bear Road, and work our way up into the mountains by the way of the lake. So just give me 1 second. I'm going to take a drink here. This iced tea. Making noise on the microphone there. Okay. And oh well, you know what? Let's go back in the plane. I think we can give her more throttle now. We're kind of through downtown Reading. We don't need to go super fast. We'll go maybe 70% power. I'm watching these two lines right here. Up all the way is 100%, and you just do that on takeoff. You can fly at 90% power. Cruising 180 knots is 80% power. So it's slow to speed up, but it will get there, and it is slow to slow down. And it wants to glide, and so it doesn't really want to slow down very quickly. You get to plan it in advance. Here's Big Bear Road, and we're gonna come up this little airport here, and then turn right. I probably should have hit it up there because that's probably the way my cousin goes if he wants to go fishing up here. He gets off early because he's probably gonna get some, bait and things like that at the shops on the way. Well, I guess this is the airport right here. Up out again, straight ahead, right about there is probably that airport. How we doing in there, Spot? You hanging in there? Yeah, you're looking good. Very good. Very quiet engines. I'm not really hearing these engines. I hope they're running. I hope they're making noise for the recording. Otherwise, I don't really want to fly it over again just to get noise in the engines. You'll get the idea of what we're doing. Okay, we are now on Big Bear Road. We're approaching it right here, so I guess it's going to be through the woods right here. This was a really dark area yesterday. I think that Big Bear Road right there will be coming up this way through this pass. Now we're doing 150 knots, and we're going to get through here, and we are at 1,800 feet. I think that's enough to get through there. If you look in here, this is a synthetic terrain, so it's trying to project what the hills and the mountains are around you. On the right, you can see the red area. We would bump into those if we were flying that direction, but we're going this way. Oh, I forgot to put my heat on. Okay. So we're going to be, you can see we're mountains on the other side there. We may have to climb a little bit to get through here. I don't really want to climb if I don't have to, because in just a few minutes we will be coming down the other side. We'll just take it up 200 feet a minute, make sure we get through the pass, and hopefully I don't make you guys dizzy watching me going in and out like that. I know it makes Cindy dizzy, and I'm sorry, apologize for it in advance, and we'll try to do it as little as we can. I think we're going to make it here. And you can see that far eastern edge of the lake, and right in this neck of the woods is where I could land that little amphibian plane, the Beaver de Havilland, and get in there and go. I'm not sure if you couldn't find a place to go fishing in here, they ought to take your fishing pole away from you. We're going to cross right through here and tool our way up the other side here a little bit. So do we have enough? Can we get through? We're going to be tight. It's going to be tight. How's it look from outside? Outside's okay, but you can't really get outside the plane when you fly, can you? Okay, looks like we're doing good. These two mountains here are these here on the other side of the lake, so there's nothing to worry about. That being said, I'm going to go ahead and bring the altitude down about 300, and we'll go in here for a little while we come through here. And as you can see, well, let's go out again. You can see all the spots down here. You can pull over with a amphibious plane and go fishing, or you can just fish right outside. But I think sandbars here, you can pull it up, stake it down for the night, and come up here and find a place where you can get your fish cooked. Pretty nice looking out here. But what I don't know is, are these really the trees? Is this what they look like here? Is the water that color? Is it blue? Everything's just pretty much set on default right here as far as colors are concerned. So I'm not playing with anything. And this is live weather. there are other weathers that I could put in here, or you can create your own and put it in here. I even have one program that will create hurricanes, and that's good for about 2 days, and after that you don't want to do it anymore. I'm just looking out our window and it just now got foggy, and we are in the middle of the afternoon and it's getting foggy. I forget, tomorrow night we change our clocks, so that'll be good. We're gonna make a turn up here, and then it's gonna be time to start our climb. So we might as well put it in now. And we need to get about 4,400 feet, 4,200 vertical speed coming up. Let's do about 600 feet a minute, maybe 700 feet. Let's give her more power on the climb. There we go. And let's bring our range down here a little. You can see where we're going. So we're coming up this range of the valley right here. And little Finger Lakes here are places you know, I'm sure there's probably real cabins up here and everything that you could have a good time in. Okay, we're separating out of the creek here now. Are we going to get up? Do we have enough altitude? Are we going to get up to here? Oh boy. Oh boy, what do you think? Well, according to this, we are climbing, and it doesn't show anything immediately in the way. We don't have any red right here until we get up here where we're going to cross over, and so we have a clear sailing. I think we're going to be okay, and as we're climbing, the red should get smaller and smaller. You should see it decreasing as we're climbing here, but maybe 700 feet isn't quite good enough. Let's try about 1,000 feet a minute. Let's just make sure we don't have anything to worry about. As I said, we don't always get to these, we don't always get to these waypoints. They turn early, so we need to get through here without any red, which I think is right here. I think it's going to be right in here. So we're going to be turning any second now. We're at 3,000. It's getting smaller at Mt.Shasta. We are going to turn. Oh boy. Oh boy. I know things that my granddad would used to say would be, let's not and say we did. Sometimes that's probably the best thing you want to do. You don't really want to be fooling around. Well, to be honest with you, it costs a lot of money to get your pilot's license, and I have been in the simulator, and even though it's just a game, it still got nerving on takeoff and landing, and I have crashed enough times, fortunately been able to walk away, that I think it's all too easy to forget to do one thing, and then you got trouble ahead. Okay, we're gonna be coming down the other side now, so like a car, we don't need all this power in here. I'm gonna slow her down to about 50%. We're going to bring our altitude back down to maybe 1,800 again. Vertical speed coming down. 500, 600 feet a minute. That might be good. And as you can see where we are going to go back to the lake and then turn left and work our way down to the I-5 bridge. So that's another question. Should there be a little green on top of these mountains? This is some of the stuff that, like, we were going Bing Maps wants to turn everything green, but I'm told to use Google Maps instead, so we shouldn't have any green here. So it's confusing. Who's making the green? Because I'm not doing it unless it's the program called Active Seasons. Just trying to put some vegetation into places where it doesn't have any need to be. Coming around, coming down, going into the sun. Maybe I should have took off early in the morning. You can control the time of day in here. I'm just gonna change it here for a second. We'll just go to time. We are flying in live time right now, but I would have set this to sunrise. Well, there's the golden hour. This would be dark in here. It's I see some light straight up ahead. And if I were to get up into the golden early morning glow, that's how we like to do. We've been watching the eagles at Big Bear Lake in the morning. We get up and have our quiet time, put the TV on, and just kind of watch them outside. They've got 3 eggs, and they have laying on the eggs now. They're basically, I think today they're 5 days to the point where the first egg should have hatched by now. The eggs were laid about within a 3-day window, and we're hoping that they get those eaglets out there soon, very soon. Let's put a little more daylight in here. That might be too dark by the time it gets rendered in up to YouTube. It makes things very dark very quickly. So let's bring this up. I forgot about that. So let's make it more daylight. Well, we can go back to live time. How's that? Okay, we're coming down. We are now at 2,600 feet, and I can see the I-5 bridge coming up right here. More good places to fish. There is an add-on program that I have that tries to make the shorelines look better, less jagged than what they used to, and try to get the water come up more appropriately. And I did get up here yesterday and look at this bridge, and I saw some really crazy stuff going on here. I saw cars going across the top, and I saw cars going across the bottom. And I'm not sure what the cars are doing down here. I see high-powered tension wires down there, and you don't want to hit them, because if you do, they go to the cars. If you do, you're dead. It will stop the plane dead in its tracks and flip you over and tumble to the ground. It's happened to me before. At the last minute, you don't see them coming in for a landing. So is there a road that comes down and down below and then comes back up the other side? Is it a real road, or is that just Microsoft got crazy and did that? So here's cars coming above, and here it is going below. So what is that all about? Well, it's time for Samaritan Kids shoebox meeting. We just did that. I mean, it's only March. They're preparing early this year. Okay, so it's it from the I-5 bridge. Now we're going to go straight to the middle of this lake right here, Lake Shasta. It's the west side. And then we're going to turn southwest and then make a turn. And while we're in here, the wheels on this plane don't really have a door on them. I mean, they have covers and they go in, but the tires are still exposed to the elements. This is kind of cool. Exhaust is here, and or whatever it is that cools down the turbochargers and the engine are all up in here, coming in, blowing it in and going out. But I think that's the exhaust coming out there. Okay, we're going to ride along here for a little bit. Have a nice view. Now we have blue water. Aqua color, bluish. We'll come down here about 2 miles, and already we're turning to the right. Let's pull out and get into the plane. But I mean, you can do that right here. Come outside and take a look, and get a bird's eye view out here, and then come back into the plane. So that's not really supposed to happen, but it's doing it. We are now going to be climbing a little bit, so let's put a little altitude in here. Just kind of coax her up 2,400 feet, maybe 500 feet a minute. Come back in. Still over the lake. We're going to turn left here in a second, as you can see right here. We'll be turning right through there. I guess we're going over that island, then we're turning. And now that we're climbing, I can see we need a little power in here, so let's just go ahead and put on some speed. And then I'm going to do something that, well, I may just let her run. I'm debating. I could either pause the flight and then pick it up closer we get to Mt.Shasta. Then you kind of miss going up I-5. And ultimately at the end of this piece of the lake here, we're going to be climbing up higher and get onto I-5 and go up. Or I can do something and artificially make the plane fly in a mode called, it's going to be flying at twice the normal speed. You can go 4 times faster, 8 times faster. It's pretty weird when you do it, but you can go 2 times faster. And I've done that a couple times. Sometimes when I go over the ocean and you're in the plane for 6 or 8 hours at a time, and there's nothing but blue skies and blue water, you go, you know what, right now I'm kind of wishing I chose a jet. So maybe I'll put it in 2 times the speed to get her going faster. Well, we still have some scenery to look at, places to see, and look if there's any fishing out there. Might as well go with the flow here. Coming on nice. I do feel like Howard Hughes, and I understand his movie now, that when you don't have any clouds in the sky, that it's harder to get an impression of how fast you're going. Clouds help you realize velocity of speed that you're traveling. Which reminds me, coming up these mountains here, when I took that trip 30 years ago, I crossed over the Sierra Nevadas in that truck, and often, several times crossing the Sierras, I thought I was going downhill, and I kept noticing that I'm pushing the gas pedal down harder, and it's taking more and more gas to go downhill. I thought that's not right. Maybe I've blown the engine. Maybe I'm smoking oil. Something's going on. So I stopped to look at it, and everything looked good in the engine. And I found a little rubber ball came out in the back of the truck, and I put it on the ground, and I was expecting to see it roll down the hill, but instead it went backwards the other direction, and I realized I am going uphill, but the optical illusion showed me going downhill. So I didn't understand it at all. It's just an optical illusion. Happened 3 or 4 times that day, and I just have to accept it. But sometimes things look strange. There's more of those wires right there, high tension wires, and you want to be careful you don't get into those. I-5 again has a little greenish look to it. Oh my, it's really strange looking trees over there. I don't know what happened to it's got to be that active season that's making a little weirdness in here. Okay, we're now leaving, and we need to start climbing. And we might as well just put in all the way. Let's go to 15,000. 15,400 should do it. And let's just get her up climbing. What happened? Why did we stop? We're back. Get ready. We are just about the same place again, and this time I don't see the weird coloring on the ground. I have cleared the cache, and I think okay in that respect. That's I-5 down below, and I think we're looking better this time. So whatever happened there, I don't know what that was, but I was back over at that what's it called, Trinity Lake, and came back down. So now we are following I-5, and I'm just going to go ahead and set the altitude here to 14,000 or 15,400 feet. That should do it. And we're going to be starting to climb. And we got to start early because that's the mountain up ahead. You can see that's where we want to be. Well, basically, that's kind of our target coming up I-5 at 900 feet a minute. Let's just stay with that for a few minutes here. We got to keep full power in and see how she goes. So from above, well, the sun is starting to go down, so we're gonna get dark shadows out here pretty soon. Hoping to get done in good daylight. I'm okay with that, but I'm sorry we had to stop. I had 2 crashed desktops in a row, and I don't know what caused it. So again, unfortunately for Microsoft and Microsoft products, that's the way it works. You're going to have an upgrade this year, version 2024. It's been on version 2020 for 4 years now. The version 2024 is coming out, and guess what? You get to buy it all over again. And then really what version 2024 is the bug fixes for 2020 with a few new enhanced features, which they haven't really said what they were. They're keeping tight-fist about it, but a lot of them have to do with what they call micro stutters and its ability to handle the processings of all people. Microsoft has got this. You can run 8 cores on a computer, but you can only have a single thread. So it's going to use multi-thread on version 2024, and maybe that'll help things out, smooth it out, and it won't get so hot when it's flying. And that's probably what's causing micro stutters, is the graphics cards getting hot and not responding correctly. We have traffic up there. Okay, we are trying to cut our way up I-24 or I-5, and the question now is, can we make it to the top of Mt.Shasta at the rate of climb we're going here? At 1,000 feet or 900 feet per minute, we need to be the top up here. I don't think that's going to make it, so I'm going to give it a little bit more. Let's get it up to 1,200 feet. Well, that little green circle is the target where it wants to be. Maybe we're okay here. I'll bring it down just a little bit. 1,100 feet. And we might as well put more power into it as we are climbing. So we're going to put about 90% power on this climb. It's a pretty steep climb at 1,100 feet per minute. Maybe even 1,000 foot per minute. Might get there better and do better. And check my other map, and it's saying, yeah, 1,000 foot a minute ought to do it. So we can hang in here. It doesn't take long. Or I can go to double speed. But if I go to double speed, you really won't get the true feeling of what it's like down below. So I think I'm just going to ride this one out. We'll take it away. We're not that far away. And I would slow it down when I got to the mountain. And so it is, a pretty day outside. I see that the wind did shift. It is now coming from the south at 12 knots. So I am glad that I chose the land from the north. So it's going to swing around and over the airport, do it kind of a teardrop shape. Swing around, turn around, come back, and then we'll come into the landing. And hopefully we'll have a nice smooth landing. And because Spot got a little nervous in here, buddy, you dropped me twice out of the sky, and there's no parachute in here. So you think we can do better next time? Look at his tongue hanging out a little bit. He didn't really like it. He's a little nervous right now. He's saying, I hear you, boss, but now that's going to cost you 2 T-bone steaks. Not 1, 2 this time. Hey, we are actually climbing, and we're doing 151 knots on the ground speed at 1,000 feet per minute. So that's pretty impressive. We're not straight toward it. We're still zigzagging up I-5. And this airport is really just, when we get up there, it's just going to be right off of I-5. So you could actually just follow this I-5 all the way up, hand fly it up and get in there and do just as well. And this plane really does fly very nice, hand flying it. But because of all the turns we made in back there, I thought maybe I just go ahead and put it on autopilot and I can enjoy the ride like you guys. Usually I fly autopilot because I usually take long trips, 500, 600 miles at a time. And while I'm flying, I can be watching what the plane's doing, monitoring the engines, switching fuel tanks, leading the engines, things like that, while I have a YouTube video up on the other screen, kind of telling me things that I want to watch, what I want to do. Right now I'm watching video editing because I'm trying to learn 2 new video editing programs. One's called DaVinci Resolve, which I think I really will like. This really gets down to you need to do a lot with the video to restore it or make it better. The other one's called CapCut, which looked to be very fast and easy. Doesn't have as many whistles and bells, but it does have a lot of things that are easier on it, especially like titles. And I have to shoot a wedding, or not a wedding, I'm shooting a video on Sunday of my grandson, and I'll be shooting that and probably edit that in CapCut. This one's going to be edited in DaVinci Resolve, and we'll see how I like to do after I do them. It's my first video on each one, and hopefully they're going to be successful. I'm kind of tired of paying for upgrades all the time. That's what I'm doing, and biggest Pro that I've been using since 2006. So this is 2024, that's 18 years. And I'm on version 22, on version 4. So I've had a lot of upgrades, and I think, you know, DaVinci Resolve is free. CapCut is free. So why am I doing that? And they're better now. They both really, in my opinion now, from what I've seen so far, better than the Vegas Pro. Okay, we're cruising in here, taking a little bit longer than I thought, but it is getting there. Now I could go at double speed, and you would get there quicker, but it's really not all that far away. See it? So hang in there with me, and we're gonna get there. And we actually believe we have a little tailwind, so we're doing 158 knots into the wind. Here it says we're doing 118 knots. Up closer. So we have an 18 knot tailwind coming out of the south, and 118 altitude or speed climbing. We've got 142 knots true airspeed. And then I have a ground speed on the other screen showing me 159 knots. So we're cranking out pretty good, doing a climb 1,000 foot per minute. That's not bad for 11,000 feet. And I think we got plenty of time. I think actually if we have enough time here, I think I could just slow this down to maybe 800 feet per minute, maybe 700. And our speed will increase while we're doing that. Our ground speed's now 149, 150, 151. So, and I think we're still going to make it because this is our trajectory right here. We're over the peak of the mountain. Just looking at that little blue circle up there, or green circle. It's colorblind. So, what was I going to tell you before? There's 2 years ago, in the same simulator, I was flying up here, and I knew the cousins were out there on the lake, and so I took some pictures, screenshots of it for them, and that's when they laughed at me, but the lake was bone dry, and I'm sending them full of water. So I continued on with that flight. I was going to go on up to Eugene, but instead I had an incident coming up here in that little plane. It was a Cub plane. And the plane has one of those planes with the big wide tires, the bush planes you fly in the jungle, in the wilderness, doing missionary deliveries and things like that. And it, being a carburetor engine, it was losing power over at 14,000 feet and 15,000 feet. I mean, you're kind of at the spot where you need to be thinking about putting oxygen on if you're going to fly up there for any length of time, and we're only going to be up here just making the turn around and coming back. So with that little Cub plane, it was clear weather on the ground. It was maybe a little hazy, but there was overhead clouds, fog I should say, and it got really pea soup up here. It was cold outside, and icing conditions occurred, and the next thing you know, I had ice on both wings, ice on the propeller, ice on the frame, and the plane got heavy. I couldn't climb anymore, and I ended up coming down on the back side of the mountain, right over here, about that high up. And it was a little plateau ridge in there on the backside. We'll see it in a minute. Plateau ridge, and because of the big wide tires, I was able to bring the plane down and got it landed. And I kept thinking about it, you know, the engine was still running, and I said, you know, maybe I could just fire it up, throttle up, and try to take off in the down slope. But it didn't have enough power to get through the snow and work my way down the slope. So I ended up just leaving the plane up there. I walked down the mountain and hitchhiked a ride up of I-5 to some cousin's house to spend the night. So that's where I left the plane up there. Now that was 2 years ago. So the question is the plane still there, or has somebody else gotten there and the plane just isn't not meant to be seen anymore? So it was on this kind of ridge in the back, right about there, is where I left that plane. So we are doing good. We are actually at 14,200 feet right now. And I think we're almost, it's 14,168 feet to the top of Mt.Shasta. And I keep thinking it was this ridge, but I think it was the ridge right here where I kind of landed and tried to take off, and it kind of rolled down some more, and I stopped it right here, cut the engines, and walked down. I said, you know, enough is enough. There's no need to add insult to injury. Well, we're going to be landing right over here, I-5 going up through there. We'll turn around, we'll loop around, and then we'll turn around and loop back up and run into the runway. So here it is, and I keep thinking, when I look at it, I keep thinking it's the first ridge, but it really is the second ridge, right in this area right here, I believe. So I'm looking at, the plane was yellow, and I don't see a yellow plane up here at the moment. I think it would stand out pretty good in the snow. We high enough? We are high enough. We are over this thing, and we can probably start cutting our speed now because we're not climbing anymore. Yes, I do remember. It was right in here that I got it landed, and then trying to take off, couldn't get the power, and I ended up stopping it right down here. I believe it was right here when I hit the ground and backed it off right about there. So as we're coming around here, I'm going to be jumping inside and lowering our altitude in a moment. And let's take a look. There is the top of Mt.Shasta. While we're here, let's go ahead and set this down to, we're going to go down 3,400, 3,700 feet. And we have to go down quickly. We're going to go down here about 1,000 feet a minute. And we're going to cut our engines way down. Probably get some balking that we're trying to come too fast, too far, too slow, too whatever. And it isn't going to like it. Hey, coming around, boss. And, well, that's the second peak up here. This is Mt.Shasta. And what I seen on my map, this is Mt.Shasta right here. There's been two volcanoes up here. And Shastner, I believe. So there's a second one there. Good thing I didn't land in there. I probably wouldn't have survived that landing at all. In that right spot. You wouldn't have liked it, would you? For another T-bone you would, huh? Oh, okay. Yeah, I gotcha. Hey, I think it's time to start focusing on coming down. We're coming down now. So we're going to come around this way and loop up that way. That's us coming down. And as soon as they hit this point right here, then we can put it on the final approach. and we're doing a visual approach, and there's an RNAV approach, but I think the visual for what we need to do is better because the RNAV will take us real far out of the way, and it likes to do RNAVs from what I've seen. So I'm trying to find out if we can do visuals. Here's Mt.Shasta. Well, no, Mt.Shasta is on our left. So I'm surprised I'm not seeing it. Maybe that is Mt.Shasta. It ought to be getting redder and redder as we descend. And we are coming down. We're now 13,500. I don't think we're coming down fast enough. So let's come down 1,200 feet a minute. Okay. That's I-5 down below. Coming down, boss. Okay. Outside, looking back. There we go. Nice up there. Wasn't too windy. I mean, the time that I left the plane up there, I mean, there were huge winds. It must have been 60, 70 mile an hour winds up there. And I had winds up here yesterday, but today it's just calm. It's very calm for it is close now. I went around a little further around the mountain than I did yesterday, so maybe that helps to calm it down, because the wind is just rushing up there, and it is capturing all that wind in the simulator and trying to do a good job of simulating it. So the question is, are we going to make it down in time? 1,200 feet a minute. That is some serious chewing gum you're reaching for in there, and I'm sorry that it's gonna be that hard on your ears, but this is not one. As soon as we get off of here and onto here, then I will tell it to go into approach mode. That's I-5 down there, all the way back into Redding, and the Shasta Lake is over these ridges in here. So we're coming around. I'm happy. You happy? Looking good. There's another little mountain we're going to be coming around. I-5 coming up here, and there's the airport. I believe that's the airport right there. And we're going to come up to the airport. We're going to go around the other side, loop around, come back in this way. So the question now is, can it make it in time? And I'm thinking we better slow down some more, because that will help us slow it down, get down faster. And when I do this, it's going to balk and say, get your landing gear down, get your landing gear down. Well, we can do that now, because now we are in. I'm going to bring, I'm going to put it in the approach. Sorry, right plan. We're going to, I don't want this flight plan. I want this procedure. I'm going to activate the approach. And I'm going to activate the approach on the GPS right here. Now we have a GP coming down 1,200 feet a minute. And it wants me to check my gear to make sure my gear are down. I'm doing 151. As soon as I get below the green, into the green, I can put the gear down. And it's kind of hard and stressful on it, but we're being asked to do it. But we are slowing down. And the question is, are we going to make it in time with the altitude?
Check gear.
I think we're going to put the gear down. We're going to slow her down. It's going to. You can put the gear down at 150 in this plane, which is really quite remarkable. So our caution went away because we have the gear down. We're slowing down, and when we get to the white area, we put a level of flaps in, and then eventually we'll get 2 level of flaps. So we're going to go over the field. And then we're going to go over the field, like I said, and do a teardrop, turn around, come back. It looks like I-5 is covered in snow today. It continues to run on up through here. That's the field, so we're going to go up this way, turn around, come back in this way. I didn't notice that lake before. You're getting a good view up here. Oh yeah, quite nice. Like you know, that's what really impressed me. You can see volcanoes from all over the place, traveling around up there. I can get a level of flaps in here now. We're at 114, and that'll slow us down, and we can get slowed down fast enough. We can capture the final altitude fix in time, and hopefully just do a nice procedural landing with no hands, basically all the way in. Just take it off autopilot at the last minute. Let's see. We're still not in. We're not down low enough. It's 3,700 feet, and then if we get in the right position at the right time, and I think you can see that right here at the final right here. We need to be down at 3,700 feet. Let's just go a little faster now. Now that we're going slower, we'll come faster. We'll try to make it. Hopefully. How we doing? Come out and take a look. That's the airport right below us. Okay. And is it going to catch the glide path? This probably should have started the descent much earlier, because that's still, 2,000 feet to go, and we were past that point we need to be at. So let's see if it'll find it. We'll get it or not. Here's the final up ahead. It's pretty steep, coming down any steeper than that. And let's boogie along here and see what happens. On the other screen is the final. So here we are. I need to be at 3,700 feet at that place in order to capture the GP, the glide slope. Yeah, it's a close race. Let's just try a little more. We're going to speed that up and try to make it. We're watching, and we've not turned green here yet. But I gotta watch, make sure we don't run into the ground either. So I don't want to get too far past it. We're just about there. It's 400 feet to go, 200 feet to go. Hopefully we're leveling out. We're leveling out. And now the question is, will it turn green? We're leveling. And now we're approaching the straight right here. It's at the altitude. And speed is slowing down. I'm not sure if it's going to work or not. Let's get a little speed in here. I mean, a little power in here. So far, so good. Pretty happy camper. Now, like I said, we're going to be doing this teardrop shape, turning around and coming back. We're about to make that first turn, and still hasn't said that it captured the glide slope yet. Glide path, I mean. If we want to go any slower, we'll fall out of the sky. But, I take it back. We are going this direction, and then turning around, coming back. So we'll be coming around this way and back in. So, yes, I've had some difficulty trying to get this recorded. I got this far the other day and came around. I had a really good landing. I had one landing wasn't so good. But the one landing that wasn't so good, I wasn't real pleased with the audio of my voice. It sounded like popcorn. So we did it again for that reason. And then the other one had a good landing, but the quality of the video, I had the bit rate's too low when it got recorded. I don't know how it happened, because the practice test just a few minutes earlier worked great, but this practice didn't pan out, so I just still don't know what exactly went wrong there. but it would, I have the whole video, but if you were to look at it and go left and right like this, it would just become a slurry mess. So that wasn't ideal presentation. I'll put it that way. So we're turning around, we're making the turn, coming back down. That's I-5 down there. And I'm still watching the little thing called GP right here. If it's gonna get there, I forgot to turn my landing lights off. So they've been on all this time. Okay, we're heading around. And pretty soon, well, the airport's going to be off to the right. And it's quite a descent. It was that little mountain we just went around moments ago. We're still level here at 3,700 feet. And waiting on the glide path to turn green. If it doesn't turn green, then that's not the end of the world. We'll just take it off autopilot and fly it in. 94 knots, I think we're in good shape here. I think I'll get maybe down just an inch more. I think we need to be in about 80 knots. Just above 80 knots on the way in, 85. Something like that. So, how we doing? Here's the runway up ahead. I can see it in the snow. Here we go. Still don't see a glide path. It is still not turned on down here, but we are turning into it here. And we get it this time. What do you think? Oh, look at there, it just got it. Just turned green. We've caught the glide slope, and we are now coming down about 200, 300 feet a minute. And I think it's going to look good. It's going to be happy campers. Spot, you happy about that? I said, yes. Whoa. There are T-bones up here in the diner. So you promised me 2 now. And we're going down, so I need to up my speed some more. We're speeding up as we're going down. And we'll slow that down again. We're almost there. See what I mean? It's stuttering right there. That's the micro stutters it talks about. So hopefully the new 2024 version will get over that. But I have a pretty good graphics card. It's a NVIDIA 3070. I would have got the 4070, but it's so expensive. So 3070 is more within my budget. And I think that's the name of the game, is live within your means. So we'll just try to be happy with that. It's working for a few brief moments. If it doesn't show up real well, I'm okay, because 99.5% of the time it works just fine. Okay, we're coming. We're looking good. I believe there are happy lights in here. They're hard to see in the snow. Hoping we have 2 white, 2 red. That's what we're supposed to be having. I'm going to take it off autopilot here now. Got the gear down, right? Yeah, gear down. There's 2 white and 2 red. I can see them. Technically, we are really looking good here. I'm just going to fly down all the way I can. Take it off right here. It's park my plane down. And take it in, swerving. I'm going to cut the engines right here. Try to flare it out here. Ooh, you see that wind just before I got to the ground? Mercy. I didn't feel any wind all day long, really, to speak of. And then that happened at the last minute. So we're put some brakes on here. No more brakes. We can get our flaps up now. I'm bringing those up. We're gonna go past that one. We'll just come down here and turn around. Mt.Shasta is looking pretty impressive back there. Now, see if we, this plane does have damage control on it. So if you don't land real smooth, you can damage the landing gear. And it seems to me when that happens, I have great difficulty steering. A little brake in there, steering it, and it'll stay that way until you shut the simulator down and start her back up again. So I think maybe we can come in right about here. Brakes really do slam on there, don't they? Let's try this spot right about. Whoa, hey buddy. Slow down there. Slow down. Coming in. Make room, boy. Here we go. Let's try it right about here. Okay, I think that's gonna just about do it. We'll put it there. Parking brakes on. And let's shut this baby down. Okay, we want to get our. If I do this here, you can. Well, you can. Hard to see that engine. So, but I'm going to bring the fuel back here and bring it here. And you can saw the blade stopping. And the same thing goes true with over here. If I can get to that angle. Okay. And we'll cut off the fuel supply here. There she stops. That's the blade stop work. Okay. Let's get off the pitot heat. And we can shut down the avionic secondary. We can turn off the fuel pumps. We can turn off the alternators. I mean the glow plugs. And I think from right about there we can just shut her down. And kill the battery right there. Okay, so how we're looking here. Wanna hop out of the plane? Wanna get out, Spot? Hey, you've been wanting to get out for quite a while. Okay. Let's see what we got. We're down on the ground. Spot is very pleased. And we have Mt.Shasta in the back. And that's probably a pretty good place to grab a screenshot. What do you think? I'm just going to snap one off right about here. And that's looking good. Maybe another one right there. Well, the idea is to get Mt.Shasta in the background. And Spot Dog in the front. See, she's thirsty now. She wants a drink. Okay, so let's just hop up, take it real quick. Look here. That's the runway. That's I-5 on the left, right here. So 30 years ago, I drove right by this and didn't even see the airport. And was probably fixated on Mt.Shasta and about where it's going ahead. And started thinking about more volcanoes that I know are coming up ahead in the Sierra Nevadas. Okay, back in we go. So I appreciate you guys hanging in there with me. I know it's to crash the desktops, and I'm really sorry about that. But sometimes it just happens that way. Okay? You guys have a good evening and a good weekend, and we'll catch you on the backside. Bye-bye now.